Here I come, I'm Military Man.
Careful with my copy of urban hymns, 'cause I like the verve. I drive this C303, 'cause I like to serve.
I'm your one friend who steers the conversation towards anything. Hut, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, hut. Come on, get in step. I know we're just walking to the dining hall, but we're a unit now. I don't wear these empty mag pouches on a belt and a tactical vest at all hours for nothing. Readiness at all times. I got my binoculars and compass. You forgot yours? Guys, now I gotta go back so we can all have them. We're a unit now.
Military all the time guys come in two flavors. Number one, those who never served and never will. And two, those who did serve and were G.I. Joe gung-ho from basic to re-enlistment to re-enlistment to re-enlistment to discharge without a single eye roll, scoff, or Sharpie dick drawing. They're back in civilian life now, but they miss the service so much that they dream of sneaking back into Fort Indian Town Gap and finding a bucket rag and a line of Humvees. But they're a sucker for rules, and that's against the rules, so the best they could do is buy this. A 1975 Volvo C303. And what on earth is this thing? It's not American military. No, this is Swedish military. If you want to really break it down, this is a 1975 Volvo C303 TGB-11. It's a general-purpose troop carrier and logistics vehicle. It's powered by a 3-liter cam block pushrod B30 straight 6 with twin 1-barrel carburetors mounted midship. This is a mid-engine car. Yep, it's got a straight 6 between the two axles. This entire vehicle is 173.2 inches long, 74.8 inches wide, and 90.6 inches high. It is 5,291 pounds. That is 2,400 kilograms. It doesn't go fast, but it has selectable locking differentials front and rear. The C303s, or the C3 series, were developed for the Swedish military in the late 1960s and put into production by 1974. Production ceased sometime in the 80s, I'm sorry I don't know when, and only 8,718 C3 series trucks, if you want to call it, were ever made. It's not really a truck, it's like an off-road van. But hey, it's like a Toyota Previa. It's a mid-engine van. Except the Previa doesn't have a double redundant brake system that you can refill from inside the vehicle. You can see it there on the dash. Those are your brake reservoirs inside. And Toyota Previas don't have polar axles, giving the vehicle the same kind of ground clearance as a Unimog. And Previas don't have roof access or hard points for a machine gun. And this is the promotional vehicle for Blip Shift. It's the company that makes a lot of the car t-shirts with clever sayings on them that you see all the time at Cars and Coffee. And now I'm going to let the guys from Blip Shift explain a few things about this car, because I've never driven a Volvo C303 and they've lived with this. So take it away.
I don't know, it may not even be worth it just to get them melt so quickly. Just I'll get another one ready, you know?
It's funny.
For the still shots. One of the dude's friends was like a fitness guy who was running one of those like boot camp themed gym classes. So he was like, oh, let me buy a military truck to fit with my vibe.
Yeah.
And people will want to go exercise in the park and go jump over logs.
Huh.
Then after a few years, he's like, wow. So these are the original wheel chocks from the Swedish military that came with the vehicle, which we've actually used a few times since we weren't really clear if the brakes were going to work or not. So
I can't be sure which is going to be the weirder vehicle, the RV or this.
Actually, there's a pretty funny, well, funny how you take it story. Apparently.
Yeah.
So there's the original radiator fan up here.
Uh-huh.
So the guys who had it, the guy from the gym, apparently they were like, where's our freaking cat over the winter? And this was sitting, the car was sitting around for the entire winter.
Yeah.
They're like, where the hell's our cat for like a couple months?
Yeah.
And then come the springtime, they start this thing up, and boom, there's like some noise, and then cat fur starts flying out. They looked down. Well, they didn't describe exactly what it looked like, but they're like, that's why the fan blades are broken.
Ouch.
Yeah. You gonna hop in?
I forget who's telling the story, but
Am I good to start it?
You are good to start it. If it's, I would just take it out of gear just in case.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, push button start.
We're way ahead of our time.
And fan on.
Perfect.
Alrighty.
And so we were worried this morning because this is pinned at 120 when we drove around. So we threw some ice in. It's been hovering at around 100.
All right.
Like, okay, that's fine. I mean, if it drifts up to like 120, I would say pull it over, turn it off.
Okay.
Right. 100, 110. I mean, 110 is like, wait a second.
Yeah.
100 seems okay.
Okay. Where's it gonna bite? Where's it gonna bite? There's it gonna bite. But it doesn't. I kept thinking it's gonna stall for having the motor being right here. It's very quiet.
the interior.
Ah, the temperature's going back down again. That's good.
Interior comfort was definitely at the top of the list for the troops. Can't fight an offensive style war in Sweden without being at optimal comfort, I think.
There's third gear. I have no idea what that engine will do or what the revs are. Tachometer would be nice, but I put it in fourth. Maybe I should keep it in third. What do you think?
For down here, third.
Third? Okay.
She won't hurt anything in it.
Now it's time to drive it again, so they need their auxiliary cooling. Need a hand here?
Nah, I think this is a easy install.
Pardon me, I'm recording this afterwards, so you can tell the microphone sounds a little bit different. The sensation of driving this Volvo C303 is... I'm imagining myself driving a car. Okay, you sit in front of the front axles. So when you turn, you in fact turn farther than you think you're turning. The gearbox was the most surprising thing about this because it felt just like a car. I thought I would have to manhandle this gear shifter, and I don't. It just slicks right in. It feels just like a car. I thought it would feel like a tractor or some very, very hard race prep thing where it's only going to bite between here and here. No, this is such a civilized, and also it's not you notice it's not a long gear shifter. It just falls right to hand like a Civic Si. It just goes snick, snick. I mean, the throw is like it's not even a long throw. It's a medium throw. The only weird thing is lifting up on that little latch to put it in reverse, but that's just every Ford these days. It's a nice vehicle to drive, as long as you're driving under 50 miles an hour. If you hit a bump, it starts to sway. There is that, because it's leaf springs front and rear. But otherwise, not bad. So in closing, a Volvo C303 only makes 125 horsepower and 625 pound-feet of torque, which doesn't sound much, but it has crawler gears, so you're not really expected to go fast in these things anyway. And these things were never really meant for civilian use, but here's the funny part. In the 70s, a Swedish military vehicle, the Volvo C303, met and exceeded United States safety standards for civilian passenger vehicles. So once the 25-year rule, I mean, really, this thing doesn't need the 25-year rule. Even back then, they would bring them on in. So anybody can have one of these things. It's just how are you going to repair it? You got to really trust that Volvo knew what they were doing and built these things to last. I mean, this thing's running, but if anybody knows anything about military vehicles, they require hours to work on them. Like, so many hours of operation means so many hours of repair. And finding parts for these things isn't as easy as going to Advanced Auto Parts or Rock Auto. Now, you need to know people. So that's the downside. And you may be the coolest guy on the block, but you're going to have to start cramming bags of ice in front of the front radiator to keep this thing running. See you next week.
Born angry, born militant, with one purpose, the red, white, and blue. I'm a born soldier, a born civic, and I know I like Blip Shift 2.